Let's go to the great state of Michigan, and with us today is Bill Huizenga, and he's been a congressman forever over there, and he's looking for even higher positions in life. Bill, Congressman, tell us what the heck is going on in Michigan. Car sales good.
Actually, they've been doing all right. Obviously a few headwinds when we're dealing with cost of living and the things that have been going on with energy, especially, certainly makes everything in the economy more challenging. Which is frankly one of the reasons why I'm applauding the administration for their dedication to making sure that we've got American-produced energy. And we also need to make sure we've got the refineries to be able to do that. We've got to work with our allies like the Canadians to get that imported so that we're not dependent on our foreign adversaries for all this. But Straits of Hormuz has to get opened up. We can do things like give year-round E15 and some of those other things that'll grant some relief. But honestly, John, I think we need to look at a national gas tax holiday. It's 18.5 cents at the federal level. In Michigan, we're one of the highest gas tax states. It's 52.5 cents. So that'd be over 70 cents of automatic relief, and it can be temporary. But we've got to get through this, and we've got to work with our Arab allies to make sure that Straits is open and free-flowing.
Well, I mean, WTI, and it's been a big controversy, WTI, which is the American crude oil, and Brent, which is European, there's no shortages in North America, and everybody's scratching their head about it. But like we always say, and whether it's Canada or wherever, things will sort themselves out, because as soon as the strait is open and as soon as there's a peace, I guess the price will come back down to $60 a barrel.
Yeah, and look, Secretary Bessent has talked about this. Kevin Hazlitt has talked about this. Others have made that observation. This is a world economy. The U.S. depends on basically 8% of its energy to come through the Straits of Hormuz. You look at a Japan or Korea, not to mention China, they are far more dependent than we are. We've got ample domestic production. In fact, it was during the first Trump administration that we became a net exporter of energy. What we really are lacking is refineries and pipelines and some of those things that are the infrastructure around that. So when we do that, and when the straits get sorted out, then I think we will see those prices come down very dramatically.
And at that point, once the oil comes back down and energy comes back down, gasoline comes back down, I guess interest rates, we got a new Fed chairman that hopefully is a lot fairer than the old Fed chairman was, and the interest rates will come down too.
Yeah, I think the last Fed chair just was behind and late on the front end and late on the back end, and I don't think we're going to see that with Kevin Warsh. He was an excellent choice. It's going to be a great Fed chairman, and look, once energy is solved, that's going to have ripple effects into groceries, as you well know. Kind of all areas of the economy. My family's in construction. You look at costs for shingles, for siding, for plumbing, for all those things. All of that will start to moderate, and because I think the setup is with the working families tax cuts, that quote unquote one big beautiful bill, where there's no tax on tips, no tax on overtimes, no tax on Social Security. We've set up America to come roaring back. We just need to get the Middle East sorted out here a bit, and I think that Uncle Sam is going to get unleashed here in this 250th anniversary year of us. So I think we're gonna have a very strong economy.
And you're running. What do you tell us? Tell all the million people listening to us what you're running for.
Yeah, well, like every member of the House of Representatives, I get a very public job review every 2 years, and so we're up again here in November. I'm the vice chairman of the Financial Services Committee, and I also serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee. My district, which is in Southwest Michigan, kind of down in that bottom corner of Lake Michigan, we have the pretty sunset side of the lake, by the way. We are very dependent on manufacturing. I'm home to a lot of Tier 1, Tier 2 automotive suppliers, office furniture, like Herman Miller and what's now Miller Knoll and Hayworth. But we also have Stryker, Pfizer. I'm home to Kellogg and Post in Battle Creek, Michigan. We have a tremendous number of specialty crops, blueberries, cherries, apples, those kinds of things. And we're a tourist destination. So, we need a healthy economy.
Now, I heard a rumor. Do you have a primary?
I do. I do have a primary. Last time I had a primary from the right. This time I have a primary from the left. To me, it sounds like I'm doing the job the right way. I'm landing right where I need to be. But I've been a big supporter of the president and the agenda that we have. He's been supportive of me, and we're just trying to go ahead and make sure that the fine people in the 4th District are being represented well.
Judge Weinberg is sitting here with us. Judge, do you have a question for the congressman?
Congressman, you sit on Foreign Affairs Committee. What's your biggest concern about the international threats to America?
Well, honestly, I think it is a nuclear Iran. That is first and foremost would have so many ripple effects in the Middle East, and as we're seeing just now with the Straits of Hormuz, the choke point that area represents in the world economy can't be underplayed. It can't be underdescribed. It's very, very significant. I think secondarily to that, and maybe a very close second, is China, and where China has been going with AI and technology. I do a lot of work with the Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS, out of the Commerce Department, and it's kind of interesting. I have both halves. My Financial Services Committee that does a lot on sanctions and licensing, CFIUS reviews, that kind of thing, and then our Foreign Affairs Committee does a lot of the enforcement side of that. At one point, I had to tell the last Secretary of State under Joe Biden. I said, you got a problem here, because you come into the Foreign Affairs Committee and kind of say, don't worry about your pretty little head about. Don't worry about all these sanctions, these confusing sanctions that are out there. Treasury's got it all taken care of, and it's like, well, here's the problem. I wrote some of those sanction bills, so I know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not doing it. Trump administration is doing it. Sanction is only as good as your willingness to enforce them, and that's what they're doing right now. So those are the two things that really kind of keep me up.
Congressman Bill Huizenga, thank you so much for coming in today, and we'll catch up with you again real soon.
John, good to be with you. Appreciate it.